Make it a clean sweep. I got Dallas 11-6.
Kept the, I know they would say, oh, well, he kept the tag applied. He could have kept the tag applied and not straddled homeboy. You know what I mean? He could have moved his leg. So.
Oh, it was fine. It's just.
I'm just saying.
Ramirez
I
just
mean,
had a little.
it wasn't necessary.
Nothing wrong.
He didn't need to get to that extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong.
Bills in a last-second field goal or a last-second touchdown by Aaron Rodgers to take the division.
He's kicking field goals too. I want to bet.
Right?
I want.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome into another Sunday NFL pregame show. My name is Tanner Dawson of the Sports Buffoons, and Let's Talk Sports. Real quick here, just want to throw out hoping for Dan, praying for Dan, thoughts for Dan. I know hopefully you're in some peace, some comfortability. That's all we ask for right now. So just want to throw that out there right away. Johnny Cruz joining me right here for the pregame show. What's up, dude?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Excited for this slate of games for today. I got a second what you said about Dan. Shout out to Dan. I hope you're comfortable and safe, man. Like you said, all we can do is pray for some peace and hopefully he's okay, man.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can do, man. Love the man to death. Great soul. So the best thing is, and I told him this shit the other day is we'll do the best that we possibly can to represent him the right way and represent LTS the right way. So I think we'll do a good job of that, and I think he'll be proud of us. So
I think so too.
Yeah. So,
hey,
but looking forward to this, man. My Dolphins don't play till 8:00 tonight, so I get to just relax and just enjoy. I mean, normally when they sucked, I hated the later games. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get my game over with and watch it at 1:00. But now that they're actually pretty good, playing the Sunday night game, I can relax. I can enjoy. I can take in, the red zone today and just watch all the games, and then, get ready, get prepared for tonight's shows and for tonight's game.
Hey, we got a good slate here today. Of course, the games, another impactful slate. We're like it. So happy to hop in. We'll have a bunch of guests on today as we go about it, including Botkins, including Sam, who are on site, or Botkins isn't on site. Botkins is what is he doing? He's like somewhere off the river, probably some lake. I don't know what the hell he's doing nowadays. Scott stayed up too late watching the Colorado game, so he'll be on here in like an hour. By the way, that was a good game. I left about overtime, and I was like, I'm done. I got to hit the hay. Watch the KU game. Could have been better, but I'll take the W on that one. So, but we'll
win, man.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I watched it. Wasn't pretty, but I watched it. So, we're here for it. So, as we wait for our first guest, Johnny, is there any particular matchup that you're looking forward to in today's game slate?
Well, I mean, I got my eyes on a couple of guys that lost last week. The Bengals is one. This is a big home game against a division rival with the Ravens. You don't want to go 0-2, especially in the division against two division opponents. So I'm going to be paying close attention to that one. The Bears. There was a lot of talk about the Bears' possible improvement. With Justin Fields, they got him a couple weapons. So was he going to take that next step? Well, game one did not show much improvement, in my opinion. Now they're coming down here to Tampa to take on the surprising 1-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that one's going to be a little interesting. But besides that, I'm just going to be taking it all in and enjoying it. But I'm really eyeing that Ravens-Bengals game there because Nick Botkins' boy, Joe Burrow, you don't want to go 0-2, especially with two division losses to start off the season. That's rough.
Yeah, but we all know this isn't the end for Joe Burrow if it happens. Right, it's nothing new or unordinary for a 0-2. Granted, it's not normally two division losses, but it's not something that's out of the realm here through two games. So for him. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's your thoughts here? I'm gonna throw this out there while we wait for I think Jay's coming on first. But what's your thoughts out here with this whole DeMar Hamlin situation? You know, like we talked about him being the comeback player of the year, but I think the Bills are just keeping him around because they can't drop him because they're too scared of the media backlash. You know,
That's completely what it feels like, and it's. I mean, on the one hand, you kind of understand it because of how severe, how serious of an incident it was. But to think that you're holding on to him strictly because of that, because you're scared of the backlash and the public opinion about it, that's kind of hard to do. I mean, there are 53 men on a roster, so I guess you can keep him on there just for the aesthetics, just so it looks like you're doing the right thing. But
I mean, you're holding your team hostage in a way, really, right?
Yes, you are.
That's what it is. And it's unfortunate that, yes, I mean, it is miraculous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away. Like the fact that he came back to training camp, he came back to played in preseason games. It's unreal, right? I'm not taking anything away from that. What I am taking away is we're too scared of the society's reaction to an incident that happened where the guy was also on the cut list, kind of cut bait last year around the same time, and they decided to keep him because they had a few injuries. You gotta remember this too. I mean, this is not a superstar. This is a guy that isn't
a fringe bubble player, right?
Good depth guy that you can plug and be thin. I mean, this isn't out here, anybody miraculous. Like the situation was awful. The recovery was amazing, but you can't be holding a roster spot. You can't be because of society.
No, I completely agree with that. And I mean, it's just one more layer of stuff to add on to this whole Bills drama that's going on this season. So, it's an unfortunate situation, but I completely agree with you. I mean, he was a fringe player. He was a back of the roster type player. So, I mean, to have to keep somebody on there because you're worried about what the outside people and the noise that you're going to get from it. I mean, you don't want to make decisions that way. I mean, if you want to give him some type of, severance, something to kind of, for the appearance of, hey, look, you're not going to you're not on the team. We can't keep you on the team, but here's something, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You can figure it out, but
I mean, right. That's what I'm saying. Figure something out, but
let's look at this from a DeMar Hamlin situation too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this guy being the type of guy's like, well, you can't cut me, so I want my stuff. It's not. DeMar Hamlin said, hey, I respect it. It's a business. He wants to be treated as if he was last year before anything happened, right? I think in the end that's what he wants. Right. So he can go off for another opportunity to go play.
Right.
I don't feel it's DeMar Hamlin. I feel it's just. What do I want to say?
It's Buffalo not wanting to look bad. It's Buffalo not wanting to look bad.
Soft franchise that likes its outlook and doesn't want to ruin its outlook, right?
Yeah. That's perfectly said. But you make a great point there. I mean, if you make the hard decision to cut him, you're giving him an opportunity to try to get a job somewhere else. So not only are you being held hostage as far as you're losing out on a roster spot that you can fill with a better player, but you're also not giving him an opportunity to find a job somewhere else. So
correct. Yeah, you're holding them hostage, right?
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
Like, hey, we don't want to look bad, but we're not looking bad. Sierra Allen says the media will always find ways to make things worse. Hell, they're bringing up Kaepernick every time a QB goes down. It's no lie, man. We brought up
so
Kaepernick.
True, bro.
Rodgers came down. What are we still talking about this guy for?
Right. I mean, it's been 7 years, bro. Like, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it has nothing to do with the kneeling or anything like that. It's the fact that he hasn't played a professional game in 7 years. I mean, you're not just gonna jump in there, learn an offense in a couple weeks, and just be able to just ball out like that. You know what I'm saying? So
let's be real.
Let's please stop
right?
that. Let's please stop that already.
Yeah, let's be real on this too, right? It's not what everybody's making it out to be. That's the thing, right? This Kaepernick situation, this guy was not good. Yes, you went to a Super Bowl. Congratulations, you had 1 year. You were winning 3 games after that, right? You never went back. And you can call it front office, whatever you want. This guy is not an NFL starter consistently like that. So I don't see what the big hoo-ha was around it. What's up, Hunter? Welcome in, dude.
What up, Hunter? And you always got those people that say, "Oh, well, he's better than the majority of the backups and stuff." Like, how do you know that now? Like, there's no way to tell that. Like you said, he had the one good year, and the majority of his game was the ability to use his legs. You know what I'm saying? So once the league caught up to it, like you mentioned, they were only winning a couple games the next couple years. I mean, I don't know exactly how many years he started the next, after that Super Bowl run, but it was 1 or 2 seasons, and both seasons, I believe they only won a few games. So it's not like he was dominating and they benched him just because of the kneeling and stuff. But meanwhile, he was dominant and and putting up tons of points and yards and stuff like that. No, that's not the case. He wasn't playing well, and it just all kind of happened at the same time. So. But people are going to run with whatever narrative they want to run with. So it is what it is. But that was I knew it as soon as that Aaron Rodgers thing happened. Like I said, I listened to a lot of New York sports talk, and there was like a bunch of people calling in talking about, oh, they should go get Kaepernick. He'll be able to take this team to the Super Bowl. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, seriously, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, homeboy, 7 years. Like, 7 years is a long time.
It's all right.
A hell of a long time.
I think around that same time, they decided, to have fun with it. They're going to look at Ben Roethlisberger and go look for this other guy. It's like, come on, dude. Let's hear. Alan said RG3 said it best the other day. You bring a random guy to run the offense over a guy who's been there and knows the playbook. It won't work. I can guarantee you it won't work.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to bring in Cap, might as well bring in Terrell Owens and see what happens, and Chad Johnson with that fact. And well, we're waiting on our first guest here, but I'm excited, guys. We're going to talk a little Commanders Broncos matchup here. We'll get Sam, who's currently at the Titans facility. We'll have Matt Larison. We'll talk some more Bills a little later. Gary Thorpe. We'll talk some Niners matchup there. I have Ken from Arrowhead Addict joining us. Nice. He writes some articles on Arrowhead Addict. He'll be joining us for some Chiefs matchup and Jags to see exactly what we need to go about that. And then finally, our guy in the comments there, Alan Perales, coming to talk on this Cowboys Jets matchup. And if I don't hear Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold in the same sentence seeing ghosts, I don't want to listen, because that's what's going to happen.
Pretty much, man. I mean, I that whole Jet situation, like we talked about the other day, it's just, it was just sad. You know what I'm saying? It just sucked that, you know what I'm saying? A future Hall of Famer, and he seemed to be hyped and all into it. He attended all the OTAs. I mean, I didn't watch a minute of Hard Knocks.
He's been, dude. It's been the happiest he's been in probably 6 years.
Right.
And the unfortunate part, I don't care what Bakken says. He'll probably agree with me. I don't care what happens there in Green Bay. Like, you bring in this new management, you bring in everything else. Your star quarterback doesn't like it. It doesn't agree with it. And you're going to blame the player over what's going on there. It's a sad situation to see, because like you said, Rodgers had fun with it. I guarantee you, he actually came out and said, he was cool with Jordan Love too, and he was helping. Like, he got blasted for no reason. That's the thing. So, all right, let's get into it, guys. First guest. Let's bring in the matchup here. His Washington Commanders 1-0 faces the Denver Broncos 0-1, looking for a rebound on the Denver side of things. Currently, Denver is a 3.5 favorite going into this game here. Let's bring him in from Rec Room Sports, Jay. And of course,
what up?
Hear me out. What's up,
Good
Jay?
Good morning, fellas. Man.
Good morning, bro.
Happy to have you on, dude. Hey, let's talk, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Let's talk. Washington,
Right.
you want to know? Not the best game last week against Arizona. Arizona came out kind of surprising people, anyways. So, but what's our thoughts here going into Denver now? By the way, they just had snow in the mountains, so just FYI, kind of the nice weather over there currently, right? Washington comes in. Sam Howell looked all right. I felt like they could do a little bit more energy. But what's your thoughts here? What are you seeing in today's game that you didn't see last week that you're gonna want to see?
I mean, just being the fact that Denver was pretty much the lowest scoring offense in the NFL last season. You know, I didn't catch that. I swore, but them being the lowest scoring offense last season, I'm just not expecting them to actually produce much going into this game. Judy is going to be active. I mean, we still got the same chef cooking.
Yeah.
Food's gonna be bad. I mean, probably gonna be a little too much salt. Probably it's gonna be some potato salad with some raisins in it, or some.
Man.
You know what I mean? So I just don't see Russ getting together, man. I think now the Sean Payton you're not gonna be the starter story is starting to get some life to it, and I think it's gonna get in Russell's head this game, especially with that defense. That defensive line coming after you, man. I mean, their defensive
and you got Chase back for the first time in a while, so
exactly. And I'm looking forward to the end of the day. At the end of the day, Russ's job should be in jeopardy. That's basically how my team needs to perform today, man.
No, that's fair. I believe that as well. Like, you have to. This is winnable.
Yeah.
The Raiders just beat the damn Broncos. And they're so undisciplined on defense. They're called the pass interference Broncos last week in week 1. So, if Scary Terry, Samuel, Dotson, if they can just get down the field and force these situations, like, you're going to get lots of penalty yards coming from the Broncos already to get yourself set up in the end zone.
Yeah, I see that. And then I don't think, as far as the defensive line, I think they're probably solid, but I think their secondary is still, we got Surtain out there. Do we have Surtain out there? I think with or without him.
I think he is.
Yeah, he should be playing.
I don't think
as the injury reports.
I don't think as a whole, I don't think they'll be able to hold down the receiving core. I think that's going to be pretty much the X factor. Hopefully, going into this game. But yeah, I was y'all looking for a score, or are we looking for
we'll get a prediction here a little later here. So before you hop off, I'll get a prediction from you here. We got JP. He says Stidham was brought in for a reason for Peyton. Peyton won't take much rubbish from Russ. It's true, but man. But you got Jerry Jeudy returning for the Broncos, which is an uplift on that offense already. Because remember last year, Jeudy was Russ Wilson's guy, right?
Right.
That's the guy he made the most connections with, the most targets with, and got the most yards and production out of. You still have Marvin Mims, who was pretty much unseen last week in this injured wide receiver core. I don't expect him to make a big splash. Sutton looked all right. Dolchik is hurt for the tight end spot, but you got Troutman. It's this Denver team should be better, but it's not. And I don't think it's improved at all on that side.
Y'all asking the wrong person on a Sunday morning about anything about Denver right now. I can care less what the hell Denver has going on. Nah, seriously though, when you look at their receiving core as a whole as well, and you look at our young bucks starting up, I'm serious, man. I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking to see this offense struggle against our defense. I think these, Forbes, McClain. I think I guess still got Kendall out there. We're gonna fly around. You know what I'm saying, for the most part. I think I think Curl is going to show out today. I'm expecting our defensive secondary on top of the whole mix, man. Just the two working together.
Well,
You know what I'm
well,
saying? Defensive
You guys
line.
held Dobbs to be the number 32 guy in full PPR fantasy points, to be the number 32 QB. It was despite the close game it was. So, I mean, if you're containing anybody, contain Russ, right? All you got to do is force him into situations he doesn't want. Get that pass rush going, bring in the safeties for the blitzes, disguise it. I mean, you might have a field day if your defense does that.
We should, but you know, at the same time, Dobbs, as a defensive coordinator, you telling me that Dobbs had the 32nd best performance. That's what I need to hear. If I don't hear that with a guy that just, you know what I'm saying, got sent with his lunchbox. Here's your new team. Go ahead. Everybody got their name tags on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all right. Yeah,
man.
I remember you. Wait a minute. Y'all got the same name, but your name is Randy and your name is Randy. Oh, shoot. Which one's
like
like
Spider-Man meme where they're just pointing at each other?
Yeah, it's yeah, like as a defensive coordinator, and it's like a bad first game as far as a measuring stick, because who else should be the 32nd best quarterback in that he should have been? You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
if you came to me as a defensive coordinator, it was like, man, you let a dude that just got put on this team, like literally have like the 10th best performance, I'm gonna be like, what the damn, I'm gonna lose my job. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's kind of hard to tell with the Cardinals, because I'm telling everybody, like, this Giants game is like, what game you want to see today? What game you want to see the most? I want to see the Giants and the Cardinals, just because of the division, of course. You know, they're in our division, but the Cardinals, they're not really giving you much as far as, you know, when we played them. And then when you see a team that just got blown out by 40, you know what I'm saying, having Arizona as an opponent, let's see what happens. I mean, this is a perfect litmus test, you know what I'm saying, as far as where two teams are. And I really think right now we're fighting for possibly the worst team in the league. Two teams, both teams. So, you know.
Are you calling the Giants the worst, possibly the worst team in the league?
We can see.
Not
Look
far
where they're at now.
It's not that far. It's not that far fetched, which is the sad part, because they just paid Daniel Jones $40 million. Speaking about quarterbacks, real quick, your boy Sam Howell. I'm a fan. I watched him in the ACC. I think the kid's got some ability in him. 19 of 31, 202, a touchdown and one interception. Overall, how did you feel about his first game, and do you feel good about him going forward?
I feel good about him going forward. I feel good about the receiving core. I'm a little nervous, and I wish McLaurin didn't start off the season, you know, with an injury. He finds the open man well. It's not the problem. I think our offensive line kind of needs to give him more time. I think, you know, if anything, we need to shore up the offensive line a little bit better. One of our guys, Cosme, he basically had like 40 out of 40 something snaps. He didn't allow one pressure. So, you know, I kind of just want to see more positive play from the offensive line, you know, hoping that we can gauge everything correctly as far as his performance. But so far, I'm satisfied. I just want to see him use his weapons a little bit better. You know, that was Arizona. And like I said, like, you know, pretty good defense still. I would say their defense is way better than a little bit better than their offense, a lot better than their offense, as far as hard at playing. So, you know, how like this is the game right here, because you also have, you know, you got a young corner, you know, who's probably, you know, possibly going to be an all-pro, you know, which is a good measuring stick, you know, as far as, you know, how he performs today. Got a good defensive line to go against. So, you know, going into the season, you know, we would think Bieniemy isn't giving him everything right now. I doubt that. I don't think any young quarterback can take in all of that. You know what I mean? As a playbook. But
yeah, that's fair.
you just hope to see gradually. Like I want to see gradually every couple of weeks or so. I want to see a little wrinkle here and there that I didn't see the week before. You know what I mean? And of course,
Right.
that comes with
Yeah.
comes a lot with game planning. But you know, I just want
A
to
little
see
bit more comfortability in the pocket, be able to escape and still be able to extend the plays, that
Right.
kind of thing, right? Yeah, I get it. I'm with you there. Hey, JP out here has a couple questions for you. So, yes, how much faith do you guys have in Chase Young being able to stay fit and reliable? So, I assume avoid injuries, but he still looks effective. And then he also wants to know, could he be traded? Because maybe Washington needs.
Now, when you say fit, that's just like you put it, Tanner. I mean, do you mean fit or do you mean healthy?
I'm
assume
sure he means healthy. I'm sure he means healthy because it's not like homeboys just eating a bunch of hamburgers and getting all fat and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
we ain't Zeke in this play.
right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I think he means staying healthy, bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's not a concern with Chase Young, but you know, when early into this thing, you know, that could have been. You know what I mean? Like, he had a lot of time off. He could have easily just took the hardened approach. You know what I mean? And you know, him, like I said, spending a lot of time with an injury. He came back healthy. He looks fit. I'm not concerned about that. As far as his health, yeah, we just gotta see, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just bought this $78,000-$80,000 Denali, you know what I mean, in my yard, and I haven't got to drive it yet. You know what I mean? I got like 8 kids and I'm still using the car. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, at some point,
right,
we got to get in that truck, man. We got to push it. We got to see what's going on. And you know, people say, "Oh, you can't let a car sit too long." You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how it is. Like, we just let them sit. And you know what happens when you put a car on the road that you've been letting it sit? It's like, oh shoot, stock, CV axle. You know what I mean? Like something freaking irritating happens. You know what I mean? So here we go. That's just it. Like, I hate to put it like that, but when you putting somebody out there, he looked pretty good in preseason. We had a neck issue. Okay, a little stinger. Okay. That's not anything lower body, nothing with the lower body extremity.
Right.
So I'm encouraged with that. But here we are. You know, you're about to play an NFL season. Let's just let the rubber hit the road, so to say. But I'm not concerned about that as far as being traded. Man, we'll see, man. We will see.
If you can get a good deal, get high draft picks.
I was gonna say if somebody offers you something good, I think you got to take it because you're already paying the 2 interior defensive linemen. There ain't gonna be enough money for everybody, especially somebody like you mentioned, a car that you can only drive once a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much money do you really want to put into that car?
Right. And then, when you're talking about these young corners and not, the ones that we just drafted, but, St. Juice, Forrest, if they still play above their contract or above what they're expected,
they're gonna want to get paid.
Yeah, they're gonna be left with no choice. And one of them balls out this season or before the trade deadline and leaves them with no. Hey, look, man, we gonna have to pay this dude. Like, yeah, Chase got to go, man. We got to look for somewhere for him to go. It's
time to move, right?
Yeah, he definitely could be some type of collateral because, how can you make this happen with possibly a stellar defense with a lot of young guys coming in that have the opportunity to outplay the contract? Yeah, it's like you said, you got to take anything that comes across.
What is good for you, a second or a third? Or 1 second and a 1/3. I'd probably just stick with the third if he's depending on what he looks like beginning of the season here. So
he's still considered damaged goods, to a GM. He's still considered right now. If you walk into a bargaining room right now, GM be like, "Hey, how many games has he played in the season?" Oh yeah,
maybe a third. Maybe you can get a fifth or
get a
6
third
out of it with it.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can get a 2 and a 3 out of it. So. All right, Jay, let's get it. What's the prediction today? Commanders, Broncos in Mile High. What do we got?
Let's see here. Man, I'm never good with my scores. I was pretty good on the NFC East show. I think I got to look back at it. My scores seem like
the
they're pretty
over
close.
under 38.5. The
Mhm.
Broncos are favored by 3.5. So I'm
Mhm.
just gonna throw that out there.
Mhm. Which sucks. You know, the fact that we're actually that's kind of disrespectful, man. The fact that we're actually picked to lose against that dumpster fire, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta work. We gotta work. We gotta get the work done. We just shows that we got some work to do. But
Right.
JP's
I'ma
got
go-
21-16 Washington.
and nope. I'm gonna go with more like 24-10.
24-10 Washington.
24-10 Washington.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
for a fantasy owner trying to poach Judy from one of my guys, I'd be okay with that. So I'd be okay with that. I'm gonna get my value that I want for him. I like it.
I got
All right,
some-
Jay. Rec Room Sports. Hear me out on Tuesdays or hear me out through the week, right? Depending on the day with the guest here. You guys had a great show last time. What are we expecting here this week? Anything?
We got something in the works, man. We're trying to see if we
Yeah.
can get a little three-way going, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know,
Those are always fun.
yeah, but yeah, we're gonna see what we can get here. We try to, of course, we're gonna try and get with, some juice, before I put him back, before he gets to hosting on the show. I want him to end off right, before we put him to pasture. Yeah.
Oh, it does.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I picked your boys to win too, man, and I got Terry on my fantasy, so I'm hoping he catches a couple of touchdowns. But I got you pretty much around the same score, like 21-10, 24-17, something like. You win by at least a touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also, you take away the Giants and the Cowboys game, we could have went undefeated last week. So hopefully this time, we can probably go 3-1 as a division. I don't see the Giants. I don't see the Giants beating the Cardinals for some reason. I'm sorry.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I picked against them. So
Yeah, I took the points.
even with the points, I picked against them. So it's insane.
Yeah.
Jay, we'll let you go, man. Thank you again for hopping on, talk a little Washington Broncos matchup today. Hopefully,
Be safe,
your team
kid.
comes out on top, man.
Anytime, next time I had the light on, just realize.
Hey, I think it
You're
looked
good,
dude.
man. You're good,
I
man.
think it looked good.
Yes.
Look at you, dude.
Enjoy your
All right,
day, man.
y'all do the same, man.
All right,
See you,
bro.
man. All right, let's bring him in here. He's a little late today. He had a big game
Hall
against
of Fame.
Colorado State. Late matchup for us. It was 3 a.m. his time, 2 a.m. my time. This guy is none other than a Hall of Famer. He big money bets, big money bags, big money pockets, going to Vegas. Having to going to the sports books at times. Comes back and there's a hurricane hitting his town, just like he is hitting the casinos, just like he is hitting the sports books. We're getting crazy with it here because he put a lot of money down on the Jayhawks to win, and that was close. This guy is a fellow partner on the Let's Talk Bets podcast. He likes to pull out the prime in him when it needs to be. Give me Scott prime time. Cool.
Do you believe? Do you believe?
What up, bro?
Not much. Yes, it was late to watch that
It
game.
was a
but
late night.
Very enjoyable. What a game last night. What a game.
Well,
Prime
that
is not
overtime-
happy.
Overtime
not happy.
screwed my under, dude. Screwed the
Prime's
under.
not happy.
No, he's
I said
not.
it last night. Did you hear his first comments? We
I
couldn't
didn't
let
hear- I
this
didn't-
guy win. We couldn't let this guy win. Don't let
I
him
couldn't
win.
believe it, dude. All Colorado State was had to, just get down. They had to go 99 yards, right?
Yep.
And all they had to do was make a stop.
That's right.
And instead, they score off a good play. And my under, as soon as it went to overtime, I left the place I was watching the Jayhawk game. I left, and they're like, "You're not going to finish this game." My bet. I was like, "My bet's over." They're like, "What is it? 62 under 62?" and they're like, "Oh well, it's." I'm like, "It's over." And sure enough, it was over. So, I know that.
I mean, I put a parlay in Thursday, Army +9, Air Force -9, Colorado State over, and it hit. And I was lucky because start of the fourth quarter, it was 21-17 Colorado State. I was like, oh, it's not getting there. It's not getting there. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. Here we go again.
Yeah.
So
look, man, we're gonna have a lot to talk about Wednesday on Let's Talk Bets because
absolutely,
man,
absolutely.
what the hell? It's just what the hell happened?
What a strange day of college football yesterday. Alabama scored 17 and barely beat South Florida.
How do I win a bet on South Florida? You know what I mean? It's like
I know,
what the hell?
I know. It just really is strange. I mean, you look at all these small schools competing with these big schools, and it's like, wow. But now we're in the conference play, so it's going to be much, much different, I think. So
It will. It'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. We do got some. I'll break down some news real quick, guys, while we wait for our next guest here. And of course, now I can't find what I want. Hang on. Give me a minute.
I will give you the big story, Tanner, today. Tom
What is
Pelissero,
it?
NFL Network reports Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a much bigger role today.
That's what I heard too. That's
Yeah.
what I heard too. I saw that this morning.
So if you're in
with
the fantasy realm or you're in the betting realm, any Jahmyr Gibbs props, you probably want to go over on him because I think he's going to have a lot of
I
yards
didn't know that.
and a lot of catches out of the backfield today. So
You got per Tom Pelissero as well. You're going to see Deontay Foreman being expected to be a healthy scratch for the Chicago Bears today, which means more raw Sean Johnson coming into play like he was last week, which is going to be really nice there.
Yeah, I like that kid coming out of Texas, man.
I expect
he didn't get as much love because of Bijan, but I liked him a lot coming out.
I expect Roshan to be their lead back by week 4 at the latest.
Yeah, I would too on that one. We got the per rap sheet. Falcons are expected to continue splitting carries in the backfield between Bijan and Tyler Algier, which we kind of I honestly expected because you got 800,000 yard, whatever it was last year, Tyler Algier. It's like, why would you just not give the guy the ball that he can run? You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, what's up, Alec?
Hey, Alec.
What up?
Austin Eckler out. Yeah, Eckler was officially ruled out last night. Into that, Gibbs was the better. Montgomery, though, had a couple nice runs on Thursday. But, I mean, he just got to get the more ball in Gibbs' hands.
Yeah, and Montgomery could have had 2 touchdowns. He fell and slipped on one of the other ones that he could have scored on. So he could have really had 2 touchdowns. But Dan Campbell loves Montgomery. I mean, out of camp was Montgomery is the guy. He's been really, really good. So he's still going to have a role.
I think he stays that way.
Well, he loves what he's doing at running back. Mm-hmm. It's Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift from last year. Just
that's what it is.
Guy. So
tight end Mark Andrews for the Ravens. He is expected to play today with a quad injury there. So there's that. Of course, injury report. The inactives don't appear for another hour, which we will release during our 11 o'clock hour here Central, 12 o'clock hour in the East Coast there. We got Peter Skronsky for the Titans inactive today. CJ Stroud should play with a shoulder issue versus the Packers. I mean, if I'm the Packers, I want CJ Stroud in there. I don't want Davis Mills. I think you're going to see a little because Davis Mills is more comfortable, I think, going into his 3rd year now. So I want the rookie if I'm going to have a chance to win. I don't want Davis Mills in there.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's a good point. And also, I think it's going to take the rookie quarterbacks until halfway through the year to hit the ground and go. So, Bryce Young against the Saints, he's going to have a tough time Monday night. CJ Stroud, today, he's going to have a tough time because these teams have some tape on them now. And also that, as I said, the rookie quarterback is going to take them a few weeks to get acclimated to this new game.
Yeah. That's true on there. Brandon Cook's not expected to play today. That's correct. Keep an eye on Jalen Tolbert. It says Allen. I think Gallup comes alive. I think you see a lot more Gallup than Tolbert. You finally get to see him come into play.
My feeling on Jalen Tolbert is he's a preseason winner. When the regular season starts, not so much. So I think Michael Gallup is gonna. I don't think they need to throw the ball a lot today.
I don't think so either.
The defense against Zach Wilson is gonna shut him down. So
it's gonna be rough there. We got Chargers. Joey Bosa, he's playing hamstring. He will play today against the Titans, which is a big boost for that Chargers defense there, because they are needing it since they don't have Eckler in the backfield. And I don't think Sam's getting on. Let's talk about that matchup, because that's an interesting one there with the injuries there, right?
So Johnny, let me ask you something. How do you think the Dolphins' running game did last week against the Chargers?
Well, I mean, they didn't run it much, but they were effective, in the beginning when they ran a little bit. I mean, not 5 or 6 yards per carry, but Raheem Mostert had himself a couple of good runs. He scored the first touchdown. But the game plan was the passing game, and I think they barely ran the ball in the second half. Tua wound up throwing the ball 45 times. So, the game plan was to attack. To attack the secondary, and McDaniel put some wrinkles into the scheme that he had last year against them, figuring that they would play the same type of scheme that they played last year against us. And it totally worked. So it threw them off. So they barely ran. They threw the ball more, but they they need to establish. I mean, when they did run the ball, there was some good run blocking. Watching the offensive line on tape was actually fun to actually watch a Dolphins offensive line for the first time, at least in that game. They did a really good job of holding on to their blocks, and their double teams were good. They held the Chargers with no sacks and stuff. But as far as the running game, we're gonna have to wait and see again, for this week, which isn't the best opponent to try to run up against. At least traditionally with one of Bill Belichick's defenses. So it's gonna be interesting to see what type of mix and balance Mike McDaniel's gonna come up with for this game, or is he gonna try to just have Tua throw it all over the yard again? I don't know, but I mean, we need to run better. But Jeff Wilson's he's out the first 4 weeks with a hand issue. Devon A-Chain, which I see JP, he's coming back from a shoulder issue that he had. Raheem Mostert missed a couple of day of practice this week with an ankle. So for all the Dolphin fans that were like, oh, well, we don't need this running back, we got plenty of running backs, it can change just like that. So now we're down to Raheem Mostert, who's dealing with an ankle, A-Chain with the shoulder, and I believe Chris Brooks will probably be active today, the rookie out of BYU. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do as far as their ability to run tonight against the Patriots.
So, Tanner, here's what I think the Titans are going to do. And I don't know if Sam's going to get on or not. I don't know. I think Derrick Henry is going to run 25 times today, because they don't want Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball 30 times today against the Chargers.
Not only that, they're going to want to keep it out of Herbert's hands too.
Yeah.
You got to think about this too, right? This Chargers defense isn't the same as the Saints defense that they just played. The Saints defense is good. Like we can't, just because it was a close game, look sloppy.
I agree.
That doesn't mean that Tannehill played against a bad defense. That Saints defense is still legit, especially this early and they're healthy. It's scary. You go to the Chargers, we saw exactly what Tua did to him. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's going to put up Tua numbers, but you're going to have a little bit more freedom there because J.C. Jackson is not disciplined in the corner in the secondary. He's not a threat to DeAndre Hopkins or Traylon Burks, and that Joey Bosa is playing hurt with a hamstring. Right. You got a good chance here to make this thing a high scoring game, because you're playing against a total different defense who should be really damn good, and they're not. And they haven't shown it yet. So you're looking at a total different defense. I think you still run Derrick Henry. I'll give 15, 16 attempts to Henry. But I think you have to go out and you have to trust Tannehill to throw the ball. Now, decision making, this is where it comes into play, right? But outside of that, I think you're looking at Tannehill with 25 plus attempts today, along with Henry with the 15 to 20 rushing attempts.
Yeah, Henry's receiving prop today was 15 and a half yards. 15 and a half.
I'm taking that over.
He had 56 receiving yards last week. Every time that guy gets the ball in his hands in a swing pass, he gets 40 yards. He gets 40 yards. Every time you see a catch, he's gone.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to tackle him in the open field. So I think the receiver prop, because Derrick Henry's going to get more than 15. And to Alan's question,
I think so too. Yeah, do you expect Kendrick Bourne?
Absolutely. Juju,
he has to be.
The word out of Foxborough is that Juju's knee is worse than people are letting on, whether it's bone on bone or whatever, but his knee is worse. He's not on the injury report, so he's playing tonight. But yeah, Kendrick Bourne is going to be a factor in the passing game this week. He has to. I think Johnny just said he has to be. He has to. So,
I think if you're the Chargers in this game, right? I think what we're looking at is it's up to the offense to still be what they did with Miami, right? You have to be high scoring. Mike Williams has to be there. Keenan Allen has to be there. Quentin Johnston has to be there, and you have Parham and Everett there in the tight end. You have to be able to do that because your lack of running game that's going to happen with Kelly. It's going to show, and it's going to show very quick that you're going to have to I'm saying Herbert probably throws at the ball 30, 35 times today. Yeah. Would you agree with that, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the Tennessee run defense is nasty. It's no joke.
Yeah.
So
and this defense is good. You've seen in the past what Vrabel does, despite injuries, despite free agency, offseason moves, of how good his defense is, especially against high-powered offenses such as the Chiefs, such as the Bengals, such as the Chargers now. So they can do it.
Right. And they can rush the quarterback too. I want to answer Alex's question up here. Do you think Vic Fangio needs to ball out this week to show he's still good? I'm fine with Vic Fangio. We got to remember that this is the first year in a new system for these guys, and there's a couple pieces that honestly don't fit, like Emmanuel Ogbah, which he's gonna have to play today because Jalen Phillips may not play today. It's not official yet, but we'll find out, I guess, in the next hour. But they said that the game plan was to let them run the ball and over Justin Herbert throwing the ball over the field. So that's what they did. They dealt with them running the ball. I expect the Dolphins defense to be a much better against the run against a Patriots team. But they purposely lined up their defensive line a little wider just to try to keep Justin in the pocket. They didn't want him to be able to scramble and make plays on the outside. So they were okay with, I'm sure they weren't okay with getting 234 yards on them, but they were content to let them run the ball as opposed to Justin Herbert throwing the ball all over the field. I expect the defense to get better over time when they get more adjusted to his scheme and stuff.
Yeah, let's move into that matchup, Patriots Dolphins here before I believe Matt Larson's getting on for the Bills talk here for that matchup. Right. Scott, Johnny, I know it's a big matchup for you guys, bragging rights essentially. One probably feels better than the other. Tua was the number one quarterback in PPR, in full PPR rankings for QB rankings last week. Yeah. Showed big, looked really good. He looked really poised. He looked comfortable in behind the pocket, which is odd for a Tua quarterback because we saw him last year. We saw him the year before. He just looks nervous every time. But maybe this whole, jiu-jitsu stuff that he'd been doing and everything else has calmed him because he looked stupid comfortable. Even when he was rushed, it didn't seem like he was trying to hurry his throws. So what do you guys got on that?
I think, and I think Johnny will agree with this. I think if the Dolphins offensive line plays the way they did last week and protect Tua for 95% of the game, I think Tua is going to be an MVP candidate because he's going to have time in the pocket.
Why not?
To pick and choose who he's going to throw to. He's got two stud wide receivers, and he's got River Craycraft catching touchdown passes who nobody expects. The Miami Dolphins offense looks very lethal this year. Tua's 4-0 against the Patriots in his career. I think he's going to make it 5-0 tonight. I think the Dolphins win the game tonight by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you. I
I
try not to get ahead of myself, especially when it comes to the Patriots, because Bill Belichick.
Oh, come on,
I didn't
Johnny.
expect him,
Come
but
on,
I expect the Dolphins to win the game. I think the Dolphins are the better team. They should
do
win
too.
this game. As far as like you mentioned, Tanner, with the comfort level of Tua, it's not only that. It's not just the jiu-jitsu, and I mean, he actually put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle.
He did.
He did what he had to do to try to make himself a little sturdy in the pocket, but it's also he's actually in the second year of the offense as opposed to the previous 6 years. He literally had a different offensive coordinator going all the way back to college. So he's more comfortable with Mike McDaniel's offense. And Mike McDaniel, to his credit, is designing the offense around what Tua does best and with those two weapons out there. And like I mentioned, he put a couple little wrinkles to kind of adjust to what Staley did last year and what teams were trying to do as far as take away the middle of the field. He adjusted the motions, so it's not just the motion where they come all the way across the field. And now it's just he's added just a quick outside motion for some of their guys. You know what I'm saying? So that it's given the defense not enough time to really communicate to be able to make the adjustments. I ain't worried about it, bro. Your Texas Rangers finally have a good year.
You're gonna get him going.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna get into that, but no, I think he definitely is more comfortable in year 2 of this offense. I think the whole team. I mean, even Tyreek Hill mentioned that he didn't know the whole playbook last year. So he's getting more comfortable. Jalen Waddle needs to, he's still coming. He's still recovering from an abdominal issue that he had in the preseason. But I expect him. River Craycraft is a really good blocker. He knows Mike McDaniel's playbook. I know he's a nobody name, but he actually makes really good plays. Durham Smythe, at tight end, did a really good job of doing what he had to do. So Mike McDaniel is all about matchups and trying to find the weakest spot on your team and try to exploit it, try to do whatever he can to put the guys in a position to be open and to make it as easy as possible for Tua. And Tua, yeah, he feels comfortable. But the happiest part I saw was there were a couple of times where he threw the ball away when there was nothing there, which I was proud of, finally. You know what I'm saying? If the play's not there, get rid of the ball, move on to the next play. But when there was opportunity to make a play off script, he made them. Like his footwork, his pocket presence was really good. That third down play where he had to step up in the pocket and threw the ball on the run to hit Tyreek down the sideline was one of the best throws he's probably had in his whole career. And that was an off the script type play because the play was going to Waddle, but Waddle fell. So if he's going to continue to evolve his game that way, and like Scott mentioned, the offensive line actually plays the way they did, and they did that without Teron Armstead. I believe Teron Armstead is probably going to try to give it a go tonight. So if the offensive line can actually protect Tua, and I mentioned it to you guys earlier, you guys kind of put me on the spot. I said if Tua stays healthy all year, I think the Dolphins are playing the Chiefs in the AFC title game this year.
I do as well because I already.
You got a better chance now. No Rodgers.
You certainly do. And I think that what Mike McDaniel has probably told Tua is get rid of the ball as quick as you can. When you see a read and it comes open, or you come off of it and go to Waddle or Hill or whoever, get rid of the ball. Don't hold it. And I think that's what Tua's problem was last year. He's just holding the ball way too much, saying, okay, there's the read. Tyreek's not open. What am I going to do with it now? Well, now McDaniel has told him, come off of the first read and go to the second read. And that's key for Tua. That's huge. So, all
right, guys, let's we'll get predictions at the end here. Let's bring in the second most disappointing quarterback guys team in the AFC East. None other than Matt Larison for the Buffalo Bills matchup. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Matt?
Let's go, gentlemen. How are we?
Matt, so I'm happy to have you on, dude. We got the Vegas Buffalo looking for a rebound.
Listen, for me personally, I'm still licking my wounds from Saturday. What a crazy college football slate that was.
Me too, man.
I cannot believe how crazy
it
is.
Heck? I know. We have like I told Scott at the beginning of the show, I go, Wednesday is going to be nuts because we're going to be all over reacting about it and what the hell happened. So
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I hit my parlay. I'm totally happy.
that's all Scott wanted. That's all he's
By the
good.
skin of your teeth, probably, right?
Well, I picked Army +9. They won outright.
Good pick. They had,
Air
what
Force-
a game.
Air Force -9. They dominated until the second half. And then the Colorado State over 60 points.
Yeah,
And
I
as
was
Shannon
surprised.
said,
I
when
thought
it went to
Colorado would really dominate.
When it went to overtime, you knew it was
Yeah.
going over 60. Because at the start of the fourth quarter it was 21-17 Colorado State. I was like, no, not
Good.
hitting. Not going to come through.
My best bet last night was the under for Florida, Tennessee. That was a gimme.
That was great. Yeah.
That was a good game too. But other than that, there were no gimmies. There were no gimmies this week.
There was no gimmies at all. At all.
At all. Yeah.
But I'm happy that it's Sunday. I'm happy it's week 2. I'm happy that we hopefully will get some normalcy in the NFL. We'll get, probably a Chiefs win, probably a Bills win. So probably maybe a Bengals win. They got a tough game today for sure. So I'm looking forward to it. This better be a bounce back week.
Well, let's talk about Josh Allen, right? He had what was it? 3, 4, 5 turnovers last week.
Four.
We have to expect, right, a little cleaner game this time, like more of a focus of let's not throw, let's get our reads a little easier, but also we can't fumble the ball multiple times either. What are you expecting from Josh Allen today?
Well, Dorsey just needs to explain to Allen that, the Bills fans love 10-yard catches too. We don't need 60-yard catches every time. Matriculating down the field is just as exciting as scoring on 2 plays. So I think he just needs to understand that success comes in many different forms, and he just needs to be able to take a step back and say, I don't need to throw over 25 yards on each throw. And I think that's really what hurt him. I mean, minus the fumble he had, that was just a really bad play. Everything was falling apart, but the interceptions, minus the one that was basically just a punt, were just Allen trying to make a really great play on a highlight reel, and really it could have just been, let's just get the first down, let's just keep moving. Brady had success in the 20 years he played football because he knew the battle was 10 yards, and that was the battle. And then the next battle would be the next 10 yards. So I think that's what Josh Allen needs to understand, and Dorsey's got to just dial that up for him and get him to understand that, you don't need to do these long, deep shots. Run the ball. They ran the ball pretty well, I thought, especially against a great Jet defense. And I think they're going to continue that today against the Raiders. Poor Raiders. I think they're going to get Buffalo's best today. And it's too bad because they had a good win last week. But they're going to come into Buffalo, and it's not going to be good, I don't think. I'm not going to take any point spread for the Bills. I'm just going to watch the game. I expect them to win. They don't want to lose this game because the media will devour them if they don't. So,
man, could you imagine? Could you imagine losing at home to Las Vegas Raiders, who shouldn't have won their first game anyways?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I mean, oh my.
Jimmy G's banged up. He's going to play. He's banged up. No Jacoby Myers, so you could double cover Adams. I mean, Jacobs is still a problem, but yeah, there's really no reason that the Bills shouldn't get the job done today in any fashion. Blowout, regular win, it doesn't matter. And they got to compete now because I was just jumped in when you guys were talking the Dolphins. Dolphins are for real offensively. If they can figure out playing defense, I know the Chargers are really good offensively, but if they play more consistent defense, that team is very, very scary. They don't have any issues on offense. Those questions are answered. I think that they are probably right now the best offensive team in the AFC East if Buffalo doesn't figure things out. So I guess for Miami, I would only expect them to maybe balance the run a bit more. But why do that when you can throw and it's successful? So
Tyreek Waddle.
Yep, just back and forth. It's backyard.
What else do you need? Versus, I mean, you guys got Gabe Davis, you guys got Knox and Kincaid, James Cook. By the way, before you leave off this one, I'll tell you about my trade for James Cook later. That you guys will like. But you got a running back now. It's established. James Cook is the guy for the first time and seems like since Josh Allen came into the league.
Yeah.
Right. It was always a bounce back between Singletary and Moss, and then you had Singletary and whomever, and who the heck cares anymore, right? James Cook's the guy. So who outside of Diggs needs to step up today to help Allen out and get open?
Well, not to get open, but to give some time for guys to get open would be the offensive line. I think I thought a good amount of the Bills' offensive line played pretty decent against the Jets, minus, of course, the same issues we've always had. Spencer Brown, I think I don't know how he's not, in front of the stadium on a cross being burned at this point. He's just been struggling so badly. False start.
Yeah.
He had a false start penalty in overtime, which I'm surprised he's still playing football after that. But that's a huge part of the Bills being able to establish the run. Cook is a really good outside runner, and we saw that last week. He is so fast. He can get outside the tackles and get good yards after carry. He's got to work on his inside game a little bit, not miss the holes, but he can't do that if you don't have good right tackle, left tackle work. So I'm praying that the Bills figure it out on offensive line. They did make some additions that they haven't tried out yet. I think they will if there's still some struggles today, but that's the biggest thing for me. I think everybody else is ready. Allen needs time. He needs to realize he's not, fighting for his life, and he has to throw the deep ball and just make those quick throws and, work the screen game if the offensive line is struggling. You don't need offensive linemen to screen because they're just going to run through it anyway. So, right. I think those are some things that the Bills can do.
So
do you have sorry, Scott, real quick. Do you have any concerns about Ken Dorsey, bro? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean that was one of the things that I mentioned. I think we talked about it on the AFC Roundtable show. But going from Brian Daboll to Ken Dorsey, a first time offensive coordinator for a team that's Super Bowl ready, to me just seemed like the wrong. Like you want to, in my opinion, I would think you would want somebody with a little bit more experience. And then now you're having the kind of issues you're having here, and I know Josh Allen. Like I agree with you, he needs to just hit what's there. You mentioned Tom Brady. Tom Brady made a living off of just getting the ball out real quick. I don't think Tom Brady started throwing the ball deep except for the years that he had Randy Moss. Besides that, it was just dink and dunk and just, get the first down, keep the chains moving. So Josh Allen definitely needs to be more that way. But does Dorsey concern you at all?
Well, there's a really great video of the 3rd and 2 play where Allen threw the interception, and in front of Allen was a sea of nothing, and he could have easily frog leaped 2 yards and got the first down. So I want to blame Dorsey, especially by the end of the year if things aren't going. And I think the biggest problem with Dorsey is he just doesn't develop Allen like Daboll did. Maybe it's not so much the play calling, but it's the development. And Allen has certainly regressed since Daboll left. There were times where I was frustrated with Daboll too. I mean, he could not get the run established at all. But Dorsey hasn't done that either yet. He's got a whole season to figure it out, and we'll see how it goes. And I also want to, point out the Jets defense is obviously top 3. So
Jets defense is good.
We're scrutinizing him against what was probably the toughest defensive matchup besides maybe the 49ers or the Eagles or the Cowboys. But if he doesn't get it done against a team like the Raiders, who are a little bit more suspect at the defensive side of things, there's definitely going to be some issue there. And hopefully we can see Allen, mature more as the season goes along. And week 1 was just an anomaly like it was for Burrow, and not really so much Mahomes. They just lost the game. But, those star quarterbacks that didn't have good days.
So a couple things. Week 1, James Cook was the second leading target getter on the Bills, 6 targets. So Josh Allen was trying to throw to him and trying to get him going.
That's going to continue.
Number 2, Josh Allen has never had a good game against the Jets in his career. Never. So I don't know what it is about the Jets. I know their defense is really good, but he just never has had a good game. And number 3, I expect him to throw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns today. When Josh Allen has a performance like that, the next week he usually bounces back and has a huge performance. And I think Gabe Davis is the key to that performance happening. Gabe Davis has got to start stepping up and showing he's the number 2 wide receiver for that Bills team, or they're going to really, really be in trouble as the season goes on here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if near the trade deadline, if Bills are still struggling with receivers, if Gabe Davis isn't doing what he's supposed to do, that they probably go out and get somebody like Mike Evans, who is already considered on the market. They don't really want him in Tampa anymore. He could be a 1-year thing if they feel like they can win a Super Bowl, which they should feel like that because they have a team that can do it. So I think that if Gabe doesn't get it figured out, if they don't establish a second guy that takes the coverage off of Diggs, and Diggs has been in the slot a lot, so that helps him too to get more availability. But when he's on the outside, he's absolutely swarmed and Allen's still trying to get it to him. And I think, an underlying storyline is obviously the Diggs-Allen issues. And I really, truly, and Michael Irvin said it best, it kind of feels like Allen's forcing it to him because there's a reason why. And that's, Diggs keeps saying, we saw Antonio Brown on Thursday. He's like, get me the ball. These star receivers, they want the ball. But the problem is if your quarterback doesn't know when to get you the ball and when to do it correctly, it can lead to some very bad situations.
Yeah.
So, that's got to be figured out. I hope they do. I mean, Diggs had a great game last week, but it doesn't matter if you don't win. We're not padding stats here. We're trying to win games.
Yeah, no question. No question. I agree.
Austin Seaver, great the leg out. No backup quarterback still on the Jets. Oh man.
Yeah, they did. They signed Tim Boyle's their backup quarterback.
They did get Boyle? Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they elevated
Boyle.
Good.
Go Boyle.
Yeah,
All
Boyle
right,
could be in.
I just want to say this about.
Yeah,
I just want to say this about the Jets really quick. I hear Aaron Rodgers is potentially going to come back if they make the postseason. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant, but they're not making the postseason because they are not going to do anything to get them over the hump on the quarterback side of things. And Zach Wilson isn't going to get you there. So all this talk about Rodgers coming back doesn't matter because – and it's really the Jets' fault. There's plenty of guys out there that could get even a minor upgrade. That defense is so good, a minor upgrade could take them to a postseason run. And they're just not going to do that. And now, look, they have a lot of money that they owe Rodgers next year, but not this year. They could definitely get somebody.
Yeah,
to Matt's
looking at a repeat from last year. The same exact script from last year.
And to Matt's point, other than the touchdown on Garrett Wilson, what did Zach Wilson do Monday night to show that he was a different quarterback?
A great catch, by the way. A great catch.
Phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal catch.
But
wait, but go ahead.
What did he do to show that he's a different quarterback this year? Not
hand
a
the
thing.
football off.
Yeah, hand the football.
No. If anything, he showed that he's the same kid. We talked to, he had one play where he was rolling out to his right, and again, he tried to throw across his body. You're in year 3, and you're still making the same mistakes you made as a rookie. Now, I mean, I know JP put Jacoby Brissett. We had Jacoby Brissett as a backup for the Dolphins a couple years ago. Jacoby Brissett is hot garbage. So, you know what I'm saying? I would not go for, Jacoby Brissett. The Jets' mistake was not getting somebody in the offseason with experience that can back up a 40-year-old quarterback. So I was surprised they didn't go after a Heineke or even an Andy Dalton, somebody that can win you a few games with this defense and this running game. But to just strictly go with Zach as your backup for a 40-year-old player, that to me was irresponsible. They should have had somebody ready to go as a true backup for them there.
You know the name.
And you could have kept Zach as the 3 and continue to develop him, especially with the new rule where you can have 3 quarterbacks on there. But if you have Super Bowl, aspirations, and you don't have a legit backup quarterback, that's on you, Jets.
The name that's out there the most, Joe Flacco. They're gonna bring him back in again. Really?
I mean,
Really?
I'll feel better as a Garrett Wilson owner. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would be fine if they took Carson Wentz. I know people are going to say that's crazy,
Yeah, that's
but
another
any type of upgrade of Zach Wilson is going to help them, and I think he's a definite upgrade. So
Even Colt McCoy was out there.
that'd be
Sign him.
interesting.
Yeah.
First game. Said he's crappy.
Yeah, she was right.
Jay. Oh, that's hilarious. Matt, before we get you out of here, man, what's our prediction today for the Bills-Raiders game?
Oh, it better be. I think, if anything, no matter what, the Bills are probably going to score a lot of points. What their defense does, especially we saw the McDermott scheme, which I liked a lot, by the way. It's susceptible to giving up the big play. So that's very possible for the Raiders to get a few scores. But no matter what, I think Buffalo scores at least 35 today. Raiders could score quite a bit if the Bills don't show up on defense, but you're going to get the best offense, I think, of the Bills after that, embarrassment on Monday.
True that.
Tanner, what was the Cook trade? What was the Cook trade?
Oh, yeah. So, an interesting fact, right? In my Buffoons League, that is a year after year very serious league here. I won last year. I had a guy trying to get a receiver, and he had James Cook. So he offered me a trade of DJ Moore for James Cook. And I said no. So I replied back with a James Cook and his 3rd rounder for next year for DJ Moore and my 5th rounder. pulled off the freaking miracle. Got myself James Cook to go with my lineup.
Is it a
expect
dynasty
nothing,
league?
you know. It's a keeper league, so we keep two guys. So I kept Garrett Wilson. I paid a 12th rounder this year for Garrett Wilson, and then TJ Hawk I paid a 5th rounder for. So,
Nice.
but like legit right now, I'll just tell you my starting lineup, and you're gonna say, "What the hell? Where's James Cook?" Kirk Cousins. I just started Addison this week. Zay Flowers, Saquon Barkley, Pierce, Hawk, Pickens, Wilson. And then my bench is Moore, McLaren, Elijah Moore, then McLaren, Scary Terry, Isaiah Hodgins, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Algier, Sam Laporta, Hunter Renfro, James Cook, Tank Dell I picked up, and I put Dulcich on the IR because somebody dropped him. So I feel pretty good.
You got to get Algier in there over Pierce, bro. Get him in there.
I was thinking about that because now that they're going to be splitting reps and they're going against the crappy Packers.
Pierce
But
is some
Pierce
Pierce
is going against the
sneaky.
crappy Colts. So, it's I feel like a horse apiece because they're both going to
think-
get the touches.
I think you could probably swing a trade to get rid of Pierce for a receiver if you want to
I
get that.
could.
DK.
There's this other buffoon that didn't have anything past round 12, and his seems special. So that's it. Anyways, I appreciate it, Matt. Guys, Matt Larson, you can check out here at Let's Talk Bets on Wednesday night with Scott and myself. It's a fabulous deal that we're doing here. It's a fun time. We get to talk sports, talk bets, trying to make some money at the same time there. So, Matt, anything else coming up here?
Just the Thursday show. Fantasy football. We'll talk more what we just did with Tanner there. We're kind of making it open now, so we do have topics, but it's kind of questions and answers.
You
And
get a lot of comments.
Yeah, you do
comments.
get a lot of comments. I watched the show Thursday, dude.
so if you put your stuff in, we'll do our best to give you the best advice. So that's kind of our new mantra for that.
I like it.
That's good.
So yeah, that's it though. I try to stay not super busy.
Hey, more power to you, man. More power to you.
Enjoy your
All
day,
right,
bro.
Matt, we'll catch
Hey.
you later, dude.
Thanks.
Luck
Good
with the
Bills.
Bills.
All right, bud.
You dude.
Take care.
All right, guys. I'll wait for our
Try not
next
to
guest
stay.
here.
I tried
Man, oh man. Hey, by the way, my brother just sent me his DFS lineup. DJ Moore is 6,100 on FanDuel. 6,100 right now.
Yeah, but can you trust Justin Fields to get him the ball? That's the
As
whole thing.
a flex spot, I mean, you're able to.
Oh, as a flex
dig
spot,
in.
yeah.
He ended up digging Diggs and Brown as his two top wide receivers and a Mike Williams, and still got DJ Moore at 6,100. So I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Dude, this week, I noticed you can go cheaper on running backs and think.
Oh, Jay, it's Thursday night. It's Thursday night at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern, yeah.
On you can look it up
yeah.
on Fantasy Football for the People's YouTube, and
Yeah.
also Let's Talk Sports here.
So this week is a really good DFS week for cheaper running backs. I think.
It is.
I think you could go cheaper running backs and build
Here's
like
to 6,000.
I went Rashad White and I went AJ Dillon because of the opportunity AJ Dillon's going to get because Jones is out. And then my receivers are Chase, Ridley, and I forget what my third is, but they're high priced wide receivers. And you can do that. And you can go like
Yeah.
a Luke Musgrave for Green Bay at tight end because Atlanta just gave up a boatload of points to Hayden Hurst. So they obviously have a tough time covering the tight end. And then quarterback, you could go Brock Purdy, Jared Goff against Seattle. You could pay up and go Mahomes against Jacksonville. You could go Burrow if you think they're going to have a bounce back, or Josh Allen, who's probably going to have a huge game against the Raiders.
That's true. That's true. You don't know really what's going to happen in week 2 again, kind of like week 1, but you have a little better idea.
I got a question. Out of those three quarterbacks you just talked about, Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes, who has the better week 2?
Josh Allen.
Mahomes.
You think Mahomes does?
Kelsey's back.
Allen or Mahomes. They're both going to be very
Kelsey's back.
similar this week, I think.
Chris Jones is back. Kelsey's back. It's his birthday, right?
Yeah, it's his birthday.
It's Patrick Mahomes time. is what it is.
I think what you're going to see is
I'm
Kelsey.
worried about Burrow. I'm worried about Burrow and the Bengals.
Me too.
I am too. I think what you're going to see is Kelsey's going to get what, 10, 15 targets today. I think
Yeah.
he's going to
Yeah.
get pepped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because until Mahomes sees Tony catching the ball consistently,
Mhm.
who's the number one wide receiver on Kansas City? Nobody knows yet.
It's Tony. But we'll talk more about that here in about 10 minutes here with Ken from Arrowhead Addict. He'll be hopping on here shortly.
Okay.
He has some prop bets that he threw out in his latest article as well. So we're excited to get that going, guys. Let's before we get into it here, let's read our ad or our sponsor here. Oh man, here we go. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't ready. I thought I was, but I wasn't. There we go. Okay. Nick has this all over the place, man. I got to clean her up. Damn Botkins. All right.
What a surprise, huh?
All right, guys. Sports betting has rapidly risen in popularity. I want to connect you all with an opportunity to get started or get ahead. Having multiple sportsbook accounts is the most simple way to maximize your profits. And there has never been a better time to sign up. Visit the page below, signupexpert.com/let's talk. Can connect you to all the sports books in your region, also DFS sites in your region if you don't have legal sports betting. You can review each platform. You can see the unique benefits. I believe you can see the bonuses as well on top of that.
Mhm.
All these sports books have valuable sign-up offers for new users. Yeah, there you go. There's the bonuses. And when you register through the link, you will automatically see the top offer of each one, which is really nice because you don't have to go digging for those bonuses there. When you use multiple sportsbooks, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful sports betting. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support your brand, please consider signing up for your next sportsbook at the link below, signupexpert.com/let's talk. It's a great deal, great site, and everything's right there. So that's what you need. So it'll be running across the screen at the below. We talk sports, but we'll talk a couple bets here with Ken here shortly. We'll talk a couple more bets before we end the show today as well. So tons of stuff there.
Nice.
Scott, I want to ask you real quick here. Any thoughts on a do not play person for fantasy today? That would be a bigger name.
This week or just today? Because today.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I got a lot of plays today.
Like Saquon didn't do well last time.
Saquon didn't do well, but I think that's going to recorrect itself this week because I think the Giants are going to focus on getting him the ball in the run game a lot. Wide receiver wise, I would tend to go with T. Higgins as a stay away again. Chase's history against Baltimore is just so good that I think Burrow and Chase are going to go off today, off the hook in terms of a couple touchdowns. One to Chase, one to Irv Smith. I think Burrow's going to have. Another quarterback I would stay away from is Geno Smith until he proves that, he was awful last week. I think I would stay away from him again this week because I think
too much attitude in Detroit right now too.
Yep.
Too much attitude. Yep. They got the ski mask. They're ready to go.
Yeah, and that in turn means that I would stay away from DK Metcalf today because I think Detroit's gonna find a way to shut him down. James Conner would be a good play today. Trying to go through the games real quick. I think even though AJ Dillon's going to get a sizable role, he still hasn't proven anything yet. So I would tend to stay away from him. Aaron Jones and Watson are out today, so both those guys need to come out of your lineup. I think Jordan Love is going to perform very well in the passing game, and Romeo Doubs is going to as well for them. I think any Raider, as much as I hate this, any Raider that's playing today, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams.
I think Devontae you can play.
I was about to say Devontae, you gotta play.
Yeah, you don't
Josh
have a
Jacobs
choice. Josh Jacobs, the game is going to get so away from the Raiders so quickly today. I think
they're going to pass heavy.
Then I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more than they want to. So I think Josh Jacobs is a stay away for sure for me.
I like it. All right, let's bring our guy in here as we move into the Kansas City Chiefs matchup. Chiefs Jags coming into play from Arrowhead Addict coming into play. Ken, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, Tanner? How you doing? Can y'all hear me
Ken,
all
how
right?
are you?
How are you doing?
Doing well, and you?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm excited for the matchup today. What are you thinking here with the Chiefs Jags? Big bounce back game having to happen here for the Kansas City Chiefs today after that week 1 disappointment against the Lions. But what do we think, Ken?
Well, I'm thinking that's going to be a great game. I mean, you've got some great playmakers on both sides. You got for Jacksonville, you got Calvin Ridley, who looks every bit the player he was his first 3 years in Atlanta. You got Christian Kirk on the other side. You've got Zay Jones in the slot, and then you've got Evan Ingram, who looks like he's finally being used properly as an athletic tight end. And then, of course, it all starts and ends with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. So it's going to be a big off. It's going to be another big test for the defense. Thank goodness Chris Jones is coming back. Might be, on a bit of a snap count. And then you have, of course, Travis Kelce. El Travador is looking good. Looking good. So, I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining, high-scoring game.
Ken, what do you think of the wide receiver situation in Kansas City?
I think it better get cleaned up, man.
do you see Mahomes having confidence in going back to Tony this week, or do you think he tries to go someplace else?
I think based off the history that both Patrick and Andy have about getting people back on that horse after they had a bad screw up, I think they're going to go to Kadarius. I think they're going to go to him early. On one of my articles, I put a prop bet on that at a Kadarius Toney anytime touchdown for I think plus 250.
Plus 250.
Yep. So I think based on their history, I think Kadarius is going to have some opportunities early. But if he doesn't do anything with those opportunities, if he has another goose egg like he did last week, then we might not see him. He might be in that doghouse like the LaShawn McCoy's old position there.
Yeah. Is Rashee Rice a factor today at all, do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Rashee got his first drop of the year out of the way, very first possession. Then he had the touchdown in that game. So I think that, especially with the lack of improvement of Sky Moore, and I think that's going to open the door for more Rashee Rice, man.
Nice.
What's your thoughts here on the defensive side of things, right? We got the linebacking core, of course, always solid, but the defensive line still seems to be a mixed jumble. Who are we expecting outside of Chris Jones to have to really step up again today on that D line to get to Lawrence?
I like Mike Dana's doing, man. Mike Dana had a sack last week. Mike Dana's been kind of that unsung hero for that Chiefs defensive line every year he's been here. They're like, oh, he's a good rotational piece. Oh, he's this, that. He's fine. He's not a starter, though. But whenever you see him in there, he always produces. He always is, wreaking havoc back there. He's clearly not the athlete that Chris Jones is, but, Mike Dana, he's out there. He produces, and I'm looking for him to, stir it up tonight.
I'm with you there. I like that one. By the way, the inactives came out here just a second ago for the Chiefs-Jags matchup. Chiefs are inactive. LaMichael Perine, of course. Nick Jones is not starting. B.J. Thompson's inactive. Wanya Morris, Lucas Niang, Neil Farrell, and Kendra Coburn. Kind of surprised on the Coburn part because he had a really good game last week.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they put Keandre Coburn on the inactives, but hey, I'm not Spags. They might have, a different kind of does that mean that who's the big defensive tackle that we have? That big one.
Not Shelton, right?
Yeah, Shelton. Does that mean Shelton's playing today?
Isn't he still in the practice squad?
I think you're right. Yeah. But
but you got Noddy. You'll have Farrell and Coburn's out, so you'll have Noddy there with Chris Jones for sure. So, which is interesting, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of weird to not start the rookie here.
No, I agree.
Did you elevate P. Ryan from the practice squad up?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
That's because Clyde had an illness during the week, and they weren't sure if he was able to go. So now he's officially able to go.
What is McKinnon's role in this backfield? does he have any, or are they just holding them out until like mid-season and then really unleashing them as they've done in the past couple of seasons?
I think McKinnon's more that satellite. He's that guy on third down that you kind of let run the wheel routes, run the angle routes, try to pick up that first down out of the backfield. I think Jet he's definitely not a guy that's not the feature guy. But as we've all seen with Jet, he's okay with that. You don't not score a touchdown in the Super Bowl like he did and not be a fan of the spotlight. He's a team first guy. He's a third down pass blocking, pass catching guy in the backfield. That's what he does. That's what he's good at, and that's what he likes. That's what he likes to be.
So what do you think about the depth that the Chiefs have on offense and defense this year? Do you think the depth is good enough for them to sustain a long-term injury over the course of like 3 or 4 weeks, or do you think that they need to try to look and add to that depth?
I think the depth along the lines is about as deep as it's been. The fact that Lucas Niang, I think Tanner said, is inactive kind of speaks to that. You have Prince Tegawanago. I think you said Wanya is inactive too, but
Wanya's inactive too.
But you got so much depth along both sides of the line. I think the part that is a little concerning to me about depth is cornerback. We have Nick Jones is hurt. You had that 7th round pick that looked good the very first week of preseason. He went down with a torn ACL. What used to be a nice position of depth for us at corner isn't so much. But I think everywhere else, like obviously running back is running back. I'm sure we can find somebody. And the wide receivers, I mean, we have anybody there right now. No one has stepped up. But along the lines, the front seven on defense, the offensive line, those are places I think we're good. But unless those receivers and corners, I don't know if we can sustain an injury there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be tough there. What are we worried on the Jags side of things? Tank Bigsby had a lot of attempts, and he was in the offense a lot, along with, of course, ETN. But what are we worried? Do we think Bigsby is going to be maybe the guy to watch for? Because it always seems like backup running backs always gets us.
Yeah. I see where Samaje Perine running people over in my dreams, man. But yeah, I think Tank Bigsby, he's the name. He loves to run people over. He had that little brain fart against Indianapolis last week where DeForest Buckner knocked that ball out of his hands. But everything else, man, he looks good. ETN is going to be good too. But I think the one to really look out for is Calvin Ridley. It's going to be a huge test. Is that me doing that? Sorry.
No, that was Sam. Yeah, that was Sam.
I took it. Yeah. He's at the Tennessee game. You can see he's all ready to go.
Yeah.
All point for, see DeAndre Hopkins get the 200 yards.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the one person to look out for is Calvin Ridley, man. He's going to be a huge test for whoever's covering him. He's had 100 yards in the first half. It felt like last week.
He did. I think so.
Yeah, so that's the guy I'm most worried about on the Jag side, and that's one I'm going to keep an eye on.
What is the key to the Chiefs' success today, or failure? Either way,
I think the key to the Chiefs' success is going to be how they execute on offense. As we saw against the Lions, the defense only allowed 14 points to that high flying offense, man.
Yeah.
But the reason why we didn't come away with the W is because we didn't execute on offense. Like, it wasn't just the drops. I mean, the drops were clearly a huge part of it. But if you watch some of those plays, like, there are people like damn near running into each other, people in the wrong spots. It's just the poor execution. And if we can execute with whoever's out there, I think that's going to be a key to taking home a win from Jacksonville.
I like it. Ken, let's I know you had a couple prop bets here in your latest article there on Arrowhead Addict. You had Patrick Mahomes over the 301.5 passing yards on FanDuel minus 114, as well as the Kadarius Toney anytime TD plus 250 at FanDuel, and Calvin Ridley over the 67.5 receiving yards at minus 125. I think I actually like all three of those because I think Toney has a chance to bounce back. Of course, be in the end zone now that Kelsey can take some of the attention away.
Yes.
Well, you still feeling good about all three of those?
Absolutely. I'm still liking that Calvin Ridley one because I think the prop right now is about 73.5. So that prop keeps going up. So that makes me feel pretty good about getting in early on Ridley. I still feel confident in Tony getting in the end zone. And, I feel, always go with Cat Mahomes, man. I know he didn't reach his prop last week, but I feel like this is a defense that's asking for it.
I agree. It's going to be a fun one there. So, Ken, anything else you got going on here? I know you'll probably drop another article next week.
Yep.
I assume after the game.
Yeah, I'm doing the prop bets for Airhead Addict. Should be dropping late in the weeks, and then I'm doing the stock watches for the Chiefs after the game. Yeah, that's what I'm doing professionally. Just got back from a baby shower last night. We're expecting our first kid in November, so we're still
Congratulations.
Yeah, man, just doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so it's getting prepared for that. So just a busy man these days, man.
That's how it is, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking time, hopping on with us, talking some Chiefs and Jags here. Hopefully we can get you on here maybe in the next couple weeks again. So appreciate it, Ken.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to meet you guys. Just let me know. I'm more than happy to hang out.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Enjoy your day, man. Congratulations, bro.
Peace, guys.
Good luck to the
Thank
Chiefs.
You, dude. Sam, what are you doing out there, man? They let you in yet?
Oh, baby, just 5 natties in, ready to roll, baby.
Hey, now we're warmed up, ready to set, ready to go.
Yeah, it's beautiful weather down here today. It's a 71 with a light breeze, no sun.
Yeah,
Man, I want that day.
I got good news for you,
It's nice
dude.
here, but
Everybody's trying to drink down the anxiety of this game. I'll tell you that much.
Well, the good news is you don't have to watch Will Levis today because he is currently inactive.
He's actually emergency, for the record, he's emergency QB under their new rule.
Well, you don't have to go to him, so it's all right.
Yeah. Sure.
Sam, what are you thinking about the Titans offense? A lot of Derrick Henry today? Or?
Well, the good news is you can't get much worse than that, so you got to get better, right? But yeah, I expect, judging the Mike Vrabel's press conference where he said he will be part of it more in the future. I don't think he liked that very much. I think that Ryan Tannehill has to be sharper, obviously. It's good that DeAndre Hopkins is playing. The Vrabel pulling out the old Belichick, everyone's on the injury report, and then, decide who's playing and whatnot. So, all part of it. It's good to be here. It's boys, we're at a football game. I'm at a football game. Let's roll. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Right? That's what I'm talking about, dude. Hey, we're going to bring in our final guest here of the day with Sam on. None other than the cowboy himself, Alan Perales. What's up,
Alan? Alan was really mean to me. So, and now he's going to be even worse because the Guardians whipped his Rangers last night. So.
I'm not mad at your Guardians because Tanner's Royals took care of Houston for me. So so gotta give props. And then of course the Dodgers are just being the Dodgers, and Seattle can't do anything about that. So nobody in the AL West wants to win the division.
So Alan, how bad are the Jets going to destroy the Cowboys today? Do you think?
already with these.
You get used to it after a while, Alan. I promise.
Listen,
I'm getting
the
there.
Cowboys can't beat Zach Wilson and the Jets today.
They will. They will. I'm not concerned with the defense at all. I think they're gonna do just fine, especially against Zach Wilson. I mean, this is basically the same offensive line they faced last Sunday against the Giants. So paper mache and all. So I just want to see a little bit more from the offense today because we didn't see much. Obviously, it didn't need to because they were already up like 26-0 by the time the offense really started to get going. But I want to see a little bit more of Dak, see what he can do. Obviously, he was only like 50%, I think. Most of that was, the tight ends dropping balls all the time. Of course, it did rain. I'm not blaming the weather, though. You still got to catch the football whenever it, hits you in the hand. So, I just want to see, and we mentioned it earlier, Brandon Cooks is out. So Michael Gallup is going to have a much bigger role. I do think that Jalen Tolbert can be useful in today. He's probably going to be more of a slot guy or an out guy, depending on where they want to line CeeDee Lamb up today. But I don't know. We'll see how it works. We'll have to see how the Jets line up on defense, and see if Sauce follows CeeDee Lamb every day, then one of these guys is going to have to step up. If they keep the same formation, keep an eye on CeeDee Lamb for having a big day today.
By the way, Aaron Jones officially ruled out. Just want to confirm that with everybody. So Aaron Jones officially ruled out for the Green Bay Packers. Cordell Patterson officially ruled out for the Atlanta Falcons.
That's kind
no
of strange.
Jacoby Myers, no who else here? Kyer Elam. How about that disappointment in Buffalo? We can talk about that later. Going down the way real quick here. No Marlon Humphrey still, or Ronnie Stanley, or Tyler Linderbaum for the Ravens. That's that Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum.
That's going to be rough for their offense going against a Bengals team that's upset from their performance last week.
We got see here. Nobody cares about the Colts. No Petre, Jimmy Ward for and Laramie Tunsil for the Texans this week. On top of that, so there's a couple names out there that's kind of a concern around it all.
Yeah, and of course for us, the big one is Brandon Cooks. Won't have Tyler Smith back yet. Donovan Wilson won't be back yet. Both of them are still figuring it out. Probably might have. I would say next week, but since they're playing Arizona next week, I would imagine Mike McCarthy would sit them out at least one more week and get them ready for New England whenever they come in. So we might see them back week 4. Zach Martin was on the injury report, but he's probably going to play today. Which is needed because that right side of the offensive line, that's probably the best part of the offensive line is Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, who's been phenomenal the last year or two. So
all I want to know, Alan, are we going to see Dak actually pass the ball today? Like I want like 250, 3 tutties.
Hey, y'all don't have. I actually have Dak as my quarterback, so I kind of want to see it too. Although I do not have him starting because I actually trust Brock Purdy better against the Rams today. So
that's kind of weird to see.
It is weird. It's weird to see me not starting Dak Prescott, but
I mean that's a smart choice. I think.
I like Brock Purdy. I like Brock Purdy more against the Rams than I do Dak against the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I think he has a chance to have a good day? Yes, because depends on how the Jets line up their formations and where they like I said, if they move CD in the slot and he's not being followed, there's a good chance he could have a big day today. But if Sauce Gardner is following CeeDee Lamb all day today, it's gonna be a rough one.
With Cooks out, there's no way Lamb plays a slot today. I just can't see it because you're going to have Tolbert and Gallup line up on. I don't see it. I think Lamb is on the outside.
That's going to be hard to have and justify.
Yeah, I just think Dallas is going to run the ball early, run clock with Cooks not there. Make the Jets play defense, and I think the best way to beat Zach Wilson is make him run to the sideline, get him out of the pocket, make him throw on the run, because that's what Bill Belichick says he does all the time with Zach Wilson. Whenever he's playing him, he wants to make him run sideline to sideline because he can't throw the ball on the run. So
the defense is basically going to do what they did to the Giants last week. They're going to put 8 in the box to stop Breece Hall, and they're going to make Zach Wilson beat him. They're going to make Zach Wilson try and beat him, and we'll have to wait and see how that happens. But
now, I mean, the Dallas will be more than content to win this game 21-10 21-3. You know what I'm saying? They're not. I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed the ass whooping that they gave the Giants because it's a divisional game. It's the Giants or whatever. But I think this is one of those. Let's run the ball. Let's be smart. To answer your question earlier, Sauce doesn't usually follow a particular receiver. They usually just cover their side, him and Reed. So you don't have to worry about that so much. But
they'll probably use Lamb in the slot a little bit today.
Yes, absolutely. They're going to move him around. But yeah, I think if they're up at halftime, 17-3, something like that, I expect them to spend most of the second half just running the ball, trying to get the game over with.
See, my thing is if you want to get the Cowboys passing game unleashed, keep CD away from Sauce. I would rather take my shot with CD on Reed than CD on Sauce. So I would want.
Well, Cook's out. I don't think you're going to get that option with Cook's out. I think Sauce is going to follow.
They normally don't though. They normally don't with that defense. They normally just keep Sauce on one corner and Reed at the other corner. They don't usually shadow a number one receiver because they actually got a good slot corner too. Can't think of his name right now in New York, but so they like their corners to just play their sides. But with the injury to Brooks, maybe they figure CD's the only one that can hurt us. All right, Sauce, go ahead and shadow him. I mean, I don't know. That's not typically what they do, but they could make an exception for this game here. But especially because they know they're not going to be able to score a lot of points, so they need to try to make sure that they limit Dallas as much as possible.
And if you go back to last year, CeeDee Lamb did most of his damage in the slot. That was where he was most comfortable. It's been that way since he's been in Oklahoma. He does most of his damage in the slot. So, if the Jets don't adjust to that, then CeeDee Lamb's gonna have a big game.
Here's a question that just popped in my head, Alan. Would they dare try to put Pollard in the slot and play Pollard out of the slot?
It might. I think they might, because if you paid attention on Sunday, they've been using Kevontae Turpin as a running back. They've been having him come out of the backfield, so they might throw Pollard in the slot, have Turpin be back there as a running back to kind of maybe use Pollard as a decoy to kind of get that defense off a little bit, to turn around, hand it off to Turpin, or you could put Rico Dowdle out there. I will say, keep an eye on Hunter Lipke, our fullback. This kid was special in the preseason. I think he's going to be have an impact on the game. Probably not carrying the ball, but as a lead blocker and in terms of you might see him go out in the flat every now and then. And he's a rookie too. He's a young kid. He's got a lot of energy on him. So that would be something that they do. They might pull an offensive lineman and do that stack thing, but that's a Kellen Moore thing. So who knows?
Right.
But from what I've seen out of this offense already, it seems like they want to try to get Turpin more touches because of his speed. And that's why they're basically having him do the Cordero Patterson thing and having him be a running back. So there's a lot of things they could do with the offense today. But if they don't follow CD at all today, CeeDee Lamb's going to have a big game.
Great fullback talk. That's what we need on the show. Fullback talk.
There we go. Hey, Alan, give us.
We're one of the only teams that have a fullback. So
that's true. Yeah. Give a prediction here. What's our prediction? Jets, Dallas. It's currently -8.5 for Dallas on this. What do you got?
See, I want to say it's going to be closer because of the Jets defense. You mentioned they're a top 3 unit, and they rightfully so. They definitely are. I earlier, fortunately with all the internet issues and stuff like that, didn't have our Cowboy show on yesterday, but I do have it on. It's on my Twitter. If anybody wants to go watch it, it is on my personal Twitter. If anybody wants to go watch it. I predicted the score was going to be 27-13, 14-point swing, but I would not be surprised if we saw the same thing we saw Sunday night happen again today. And the Cowboys just railroad them.
Do we, last question, do we see the Cowboys overtaking the Eagles here? The Eagles have struggled passing the ball a lot. Do we see the Cowboys possibly getting past the Eagles.
Well, Scott, you got to see what Dak does too, right? I mean, we're
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm saying both teams have struggled passing the ball, but the Eagles could be got right now before
Well,
they get.
here's the thing with that too. We talk about it all the time. What did Ray Lewis always tell Trent Dilfer? Give me this amount of points and we'll take care of the rest. Micah Parsons has been having the same conversations with Dak Prescott. Give us X amount of points and we'll take care of the rest. Because I don't know if you've seen the interviews he's done. He's felt like this team should have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years because of how great their defense has played.
Man.
So I would not be surprised to see him go off on the on teams later on down the line. I think they can. I actually did pick the Cowboys to win the East because history shows the same team does not win this division back-to-back years. And with the Eagles struggling on offense, it's starting to become apparent.
It's Washington's turn.
Okay.
No, that only happens in a blue moon and when everybody else decides to play like crap.
I like it. Hey, you guys can find Alan here on Let's Talk Sports channel. He has many shows: the Cowboys, the NFC East show, the newsletter,
NFC
Monday
South.
Morning. Yeah, and we do a bunch of stuff. Now things
South.
will be changing a little bit. Mr. Perala's schedule is going to change a little bit, but still doing a lot, still a big contributor. So we appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Unfortunately,
hit that notification bell, people.
Unfortunately, one of those shows that might end up leaving is the newsletter, which is one of my favorites. So, it sucks, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you can to get money. So,
that's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. Hey, keep up the good work, Alan. We'll appreciate you hopping on here talking to the Cowboys Jets matchup. We'll catch you up here. I'll get in contact with you a little later. So,
also one last thing before I go. How about them Cowboys?
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye. Thanks for coming on, Alan. We appreciate it.
You guys got all going. I love it.
Y'all have a good day. I'll see you later.
I'll see you tonight, bro. Be safe. Have a good day, bro.
All right. See you tonight, Johnny.
All right, bro.
Bye. Thanks. Goodbye.
I so had a feeling he was going to throw that in there at the end.
Flo Jr. Goodbye, Flo Jr.
So I know Thursday we picked against the spreads. We do every Thursday we pick against the spreads, guys. So you can check that episode out. But let's go straight money line here, all the way down the list here, for our games here. Just straight money line. All right. This is yes, one team or the other. Okay. So let's start here with the first matchup here on the day. Green Bay, Atlanta. Currently 2.5 favorites is Atlanta. Who we got on this one, guys?
Atlanta.
I'm taking Packers. I don't trust the quarterback in Atlanta.
I got Atlanta. I think Bijan Tyler Algier is going to run all over him. No Aaron Jones. It's trouble.
Or Christian Watson.
Or Christian Watson, yeah. Vegas, Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Baltimore, Cincy.
Cincy, man. Cincinnati's desperate, man.
I think Cincy pulls this one through with Tyler Linderbaum, and Marlon Humphrey and Stanley being on the
that's a lot of people out, man. Wow.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals as well on this one. Chicago, Tampa. Tampa. Okay.
Tampa.
KC, Jacksonville.
KC.
Yeah.
I took Jacksonville on the picks because I was getting points.
Yeah, that's
a close game, but I think KC wins the game.
has to have a bounce back. This has to be a bounce back. So, Chargers, Tennessee.
I'm starting to regret the Chargers pick because I wasn't sure about Eckler, but
I still get the Chargers.
I'll still go with the Chargers. That's too much firepower.
Colts, Houston.
Houston, Alan.
Colts.
Yeah,
going Colts. Yeah, both going Colts. I'll take Houston.
Yeah,
now.
Colts.
Okay. Seattle, Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit. Niners, Rams.
Niners.
Giants, Cards.
Do we have to? Do we have
Cards?
I'm Cards. Yeah.
I'm going Giants. Money line. I'm going Giants.
Okay. Jets, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
As much as it sucks to
Commanders,
say, but
Broncos.
Commanders.
I'll go Broncos at home.
Dolphins, Pats. The big game between you two.
Dolphins.
I'll take
Dolphins.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Dolphins. Saints, Panthers.
Saints.
Saints.
Browns, Pittsburgh.
Browns.
I'm going Browns, man. They're gonna win that
we'll go
division,
Browns,
bro.
too. I think so too.
Yeah.
That's your slate here, Scott. What do we got here? What's our prop bets for the day?
The ones I put in already: Deshaun Watson over 23.5 rushing yards with
Okay.
no Cam Hayward. He's going to run the ball. He ran for 45 yards last week, so until he proves he can't do it, I'm going to take him. Ramondre Stevenson over 51.5 rushing yards. Miami gave up a ton of rushing yards.
He might have that after the first quarter.
Yeah, it's very possible that he does. Luke Musgrave over 31.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
Atlanta against the tight end last week was awful, god awful. And with no Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, those targets and yards have to go someplace.
that was Hayden Hurst last week. So let's be real. A little bit better route running. So
a little bit route running. Two more. DJ Moore over 3.5 receptions. He's the number one receiver. He's going to catch more than three balls. Last one is Mike Evans over 51.5 receiving yards. Him and Baker had a connection last week. I think that continues. The Bears secondary is not very good. So I think Mike Evans gets loose for a touchdown or two and gets like 75 yards receiving.
I like that.
Nice.
I'm good with
Awesome.
that. I'm good with that.
I'm good with all of those.
Yeah.
Man.
Love it. So guys, hey, we're gonna wrap this thing up here. I got an hour to get bets in. It is 1 hour till game time, everybody. Get your fancy stuff set, get your bets in, get your DFS in. If you aren't signed up for bets yet, go down the link here, sign up at expert.com/letstalk. Go sign up for your sportsbook, get your DFS sites in, get your bonuses. It's free money in the end.
Yeah.
So
and everything you need is right there at that site, man.
And Scott, my final say here is, of course, happy to have you as my next victim in the Let's Talk Sports League. Appreciate you volunteering for week 2.
You're already up. I bench Kirk Cousins for Anthony Richardson. I'm friggin' pissed. I'm pissed.
I have DeAndre Swift already with 27 points, and that still leaves. And I'm starting Judy this week, so now my receivers are Diggs, Brown, Judy, and Pickens. So I wish you the best at your adventures and stuff.
You might not need luck this week.
Appreciate you being my next
victim.
victim.
A crap load of shit from Nick pretty soon, yeah. But it's
hey,
not
you know,
winning
the league says LTS Fantasy League, don't let Nick repeat.
Don't let Nick repeat.
And I'm on that mission of don't let Nick repeat.
Right.
You certainly are.
So we're going at it. What do you? Who do you have, Johnny? Who do you?
I'm going up against. I'm actually going up against Dan.
Oh,
week.
Dan.
Yeah, and he's already got an edge on me because AJ Brown ain't do shit.
You had Gettard and Brown 6.9 points,
got,
8.2.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
yeah. So I'm trying to make it up in the back end, but I'm struggling to figure out who the hell.
Well, yeah, Hurts at 26. It was granted, Herbert's probably going to get his 26 too, but yeah, man, that's
I'm trying to figure out my flexes and see who actually get me some points with their matchups today. So yeah, I'm glad I got an hour to try to figure this out.
Did you win last week, Johnny?
I haven't got
Johnny
a kicker yet. I'll get a kicker once I get the rest of the lineup set up. Then I'll grab a kicker and just throw them in there.
John.
I lost last week because fucking Allen's Dallas team had 40 points by their defense. So he wound up beating me by a few points because of that fucking 40 points by the Dallas defense. Like, what the fuck was that?
Alan, you're off the show tonight. See you later. Don't come back.
Your top 5 teams in the Let's Talk Sports Sleeper League is number 1 is Just Fans Pod. So that's Carlos. Number 2 is Cowboys for Life, which I'm sure we all figured that out. Number 3 is Mr. First Down. Number 4 is Basement Brood Fantasy Football.com, which is Mikey. And the number 5 is yours truly right here, sitting at 5. By the way, Botkins at 6. So we got to do something about this pretty quick.
Who's Botkins playing this week?
Botkins has, let's see here. League. Botkins has Matt Larison, who's also 0-1. Currently scheduled to lose to him because Larison had Eagles D at 11 points. So, but we'll have to see what happens here. He has Botkins has Jordan Love starting. So, good luck on losing that one. But anyways, guys, hey, that was a great show. Appreciate everybody here. Johnny, Scott, thank you for joining. Appreciate all our guests of Kent, Ken, Jay, Alan, Sam. I think I got everybody. I think that's everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, Matt Larison as well.
Matt was it.
Yep, Matt.
Expect an announcement come in the next few days from Mr. Dan Harris on stuff. Some things are changing up. I've already changed a little bit, so but expect some change ups. Let's talk sports, but please make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow, stay with us here as only good things are coming up. So everybody have a fabulous Sunday. Enjoy your football. We'll catch you tomorrow night with Mr.
Go Patriots. Go Patriots.
Go Chiefs.
One life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stain from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep, only scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.